So your journey getting back into academia.
Yeah.
So you say, you know what, this 401k is great. I would love to have equity at some point, but there is this passion to ensure that the way I'm able to cultivate minds is able to be displayed. So when did you get back into academia? Where and then what were you able to?
So about a year after I graduated with my undergraduate degree, Julie and I moved from Waco to West Lafayette, Indiana, home of the Purdue Boilermakers. And we spent 4 years in West Lafayette. I should have mentioned that Julie is an educator herself. And so all during this time, as we've graduated from college, we're newly married. I'm now in graduate school. Julie's teaching. She's a high school biology teacher. And so our family's always been educators at heart. So we go to Purdue. I spent 4 years working on a master's and PhD in economics. And with every intent to go into the academy, with every intent to be a college professor. And after I was done with my PhD studies, I had the great privilege and really the peculiar and unique experience of going back to alma mater. My first academic appointment was back at Baylor. And within 5 years of graduating with my undergraduate degree, I found myself linking arms with, side by side, in the same department with some of my own mentors. The people who instilled in me a love for learning, instilled in me a love for economics, the people that I was in their offices wondering, what does the future look like? Here I am now, I'm side by side. I'm a professional counterpart with these same people. And so loved my time in the classroom. I was good at it, to be frank. I loved teaching. I loved helping students find their passion, think themselves about what God was calling them to. I did a lot of economic research as well. Faculty members, as you know, are required and expected to be thinkers in the field and do research and scholarship and publish, and I was doing all of that as well. And so I felt like I had hit the grand slam being back at Baylor. And ended up, about 8 years into my stint at Baylor, ended up being invited to go to Harvard University to be a visiting professor at Harvard. Had some connections there. I was doing some research with some people that were at Harvard. And so for a year, Julie and I picked up, we had 2 children at the time, moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts. And spent a year working at the prestigious, one of the oldest and perhaps most prestigious universities in the world. And it was a transformative experience in this sense. Not only was it professionally enlightening and professionally encouraging, but it taught us that there was life outside of Waco, Texas. Now I know that that's hard to believe. I know the idea that there's life outside of Waco, Texas. But it really opened up our eyes to this idea that the Lord might actually be calling us to something more. Not, I think very coincidentally, very providentially, at Baylor, I was being tapped to participate in some leadership development programs. Somebody at Baylor said, Beck Taylor might be somebody we want to cultivate in terms of leadership. Long story short, as my time at Baylor, I didn't know this at the time, as my time at Baylor was coming to conclusion, I was tapped by the university president at Baylor to shadow him for a year. And as part of a larger leadership development program. But Isaac, that began to instill in me some idea that maybe the Lord was beginning to shape me as a leader. Now, I had always been a leader. We talked about sports. I was always the catcher on the baseball team. I was the point guard on the basketball team. I was the quarterback on the football team. I was the goalkeeper on the soccer team.
Decision maker.
I was always the person who held a lot of responsibility and a lot of accountability. And I gravitated toward those roles. And so not surprisingly, somebody said, he's got some leadership, capability. And so not long after that experience, I was tapped to be the associate dean of the business school at Baylor. And so that got me into formal administration work. And then a year after that, I get a call from this school in Homewood, Alabama, called Samford University, and that started a really fun and unique chapter in my life.
That's excellent. Can you